So our next speaker is Nuper and Anand. If you would like to go ahead and get mic'd up, I'll introduce you while you're getting it on. This is titled not gratitude referral. Titled "The Journey of Embracing Ethnic Pride: How the Dynamics Between a Teenager and Parents Were a Catalyst for a Journey."
Thank you. That was a fantastic story. I'll keep my piece of corn with me. I want to thank Letta and Tom for giving me this opportunity to speak. I've been in Madeira since 2001, but I've grown up in Cincinnati my whole life, so I'm a very proud Cincinnatian. I grew up in Clifton with parents who came here in 1975 as physicians looking for work because they could not find jobs in India at the time and came here to hopefully thrive, which they did. Growing up here in the 70s and 80s was different than it is today. It was hard because I was very different, right? Not only physically, but my parents were different, our food was different, our religion was different, and all you wanted to do was belong as like a 14, 15-year-old. And it was rough, but I always say it was a great experience because it always taught me to find the different person in a room and bring them in. So even to this day, I almost have like a weird obsession, like my friends make fun of it, that I'll find every orphan and bring them to every meal and everything I can, because I feel like there's people that don't feel like they belong and I always want to pull them in. So that's the great thing about going through not being a part of the basic environment. But it has definitely gotten better, but part of it was that people didn't know about different cultures as much in the 70s and 80s. So like I was always explaining at school, people would ask me questions like in India, when you go to India, do you stay in a hotel or do you stay is there like elephants all over the place? And I'm like, no, we have hotels and we have like everything. So it was hard as a young kid to always have to explain. But like I said, there was a positive to it. The hardest part was that I used to always tease my parents. My dad is a physician and he used to dress up to go to work. And this was a story I was sharing with Tom and Letta, that when he went to work, he was always in a double-breasted suit. He was very proper and all tied and everything. But when he'd come to drop me off at the bus, he would choose to wear Indian clothes. So he'd wear like a kurta and pajama, which is like a white top and pants. So I was like, why on earth would you pick that to wear in front of the entire bus coming to pick me up? Because as soon as I get on the bus, everybody'd be like, is your dad a shepherd? Is that why he wears that outfit? And I'm like, no, he's not a shepherd. He's actually a plastic surgeon. And I was like, please just wear a normal outfit to the bus stop, please. But of course he didn't. Of course he continued wearing that. And I think, as I grew older, I realized it's probably because he was trying to instill that pride in me, that don't let other people make you feel bad about whatever your tradition may be, whatever clothes you may wear, what food you eat. Then to add to that, of course, I'd have friends over to visit and I would beg my parents to not make Indian food because I'm like, the whole house smells. Can you not, just for one night, could we have tuna noodle casserole or something just normal, what everybody else has? And I used to beg them, please. And of course, my mom would not abide. She would still make whatever and be like, you have to have pride in where you come from and where, your own traditions and your food that you came from. So part of that developed into me trying to learn about the answers to questions people ask me about, like traditions like Diwali, which is a presentation I had made, but because I'm not tech savvy, did it all wrong, so I can't show it to you, I apologize. But Diwali is our festival of lights, which just happened on November 1st, and it's based on the lunar calendar, so every year it's a different day. And this year was November 1st. and kind of October 31st, because some people celebrated it on both days, which to my children was very hard, because they're like, now do we celebrate Halloween or Diwali? And there were a lot of jokes passed around where people were dressed in Halloween costumes celebrating Diwali at the same time. So they meshed both, which is also wonderful. But I learned a lot of answers to questions because of the kind of questions I was asked. It forced me to learn. And my husband always made fun of me when we got married because I'd ask him questions when we were in India. Why are we doing this? Why are we, and he'd go, why do you always have to ask why? Can't you just do what people are telling you to do and just perform the prayer service or do whatever? And I said, you don't understand, because I grew up in a way where everybody asked me questions all the time and I had to have answers. And if I didn't have answers, I didn't feel a pride in it, because I didn't understand it myself. I was just doing it to do it. So because of that, I learned about Diwali. I learned about all the cultural things we had, and I tried to do that with my children when they went to school. I did Diwali presentations since they were probably like 3 years old in the class, to try to have people around them understand it so that they wouldn't have to do the explaining that I did, which I'm happy to say a lot more people know about it, and I see my children are kind of like almost the ones that don't know as much anymore, because they'll go into a room and people will be like, this is what it's about, this is what you do, and they're like, oh yeah, I didn't realize that piece of it. So it's really nice. I feel like they've gotten a chance, because I did those presentations, because I learned about it, that I was able to pass on some of the Diwali traditions to them. And I wish I could have showed you a little bit of what we do, but just to give you an idea, we usually clean our houses on Diwali, because it's the start of a new year and you want to start off in a clean home and you want to welcome good things into your house, and it's the banishment of evil where good wins. And there's a whole story, which I had on there, of how that happened. But the general reason is just like Hanukkah or Christmas or Kwanzaa. It's about goodness winning over evil and trying to bring those things into your home. So luckily, I'm sorry I didn't have the presentation to show you all, but I do think there's something good that comes out of learning all those traditions and passing them on to your children, because I see them today and they're hopefully proud of where they came from, how their grandparents came to this country with, which I always heard about, $7 in their pocket, which was the allowed amount you were allowed to bring here at that time from India. And they, on $7, built generational families here who've, gone on to do more. So thank you for giving me the time. Thank you. Thank you.